Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Getting Down to Business. I'm Ashley Curtis, Career Counselor and Internship Coordinator for the Muma College of Business. And I am so excited for today's episode. We have, substituting for my co-host, we have Mr. Jeff Morris. Jeff, thanks for being here.
Ashley, it is great to be here. Thanks so much for having me. I feel like a guest myself, so it's awesome. We are very excited to have two wonderful guests today, Dr. Steve Diazio and Blair Wood-Jones, both from the Entrepreneurship and Innovation program here at USF. If you guys don't mind, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourselves?
Thanks for the invitation. I'm excited to be here as an Associate Professor of Instruction to share a bit about our program, the activities, and the wonderful achievements that our students are making in and outside of the classroom.
Well, hello. Thank you again for letting me join today. My name is Blair Wood-Jones. I am an Entrepreneurship and Innovation major here at USF. I'm from Jacksonville, Arkansas, Central Arkansas. And yeah, I'm really excited to be here. Thank you for having me. Thanks for being here. And for our listeners, a little fun fact about Blair. Blair just took first place in our sustainability pitch competition. Yeah, so I took first place at the first USF sustainability pitch competition with my business venture, Community Input Transit. It was some great competition there. I met some really amazing people, saw some really amazing ideas, and I'm honestly just honored to be able to stand next to some amazing peers that I have. So yeah, thank you.
Awesome.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, so first, do you have a favorite book or quote that motivates you or inspires you?
A lot of where I focus my attention is how I view learning. And this was planted in me when I was in my doctoral program. And they suggested this, at least Plato was introduced. He said, do not train a child to learn by force or harshness, but direct them to it by the amuse of their minds so that they may better able to discover with accuracy the peculiar bent of the genius of each.
Oh, I like that.
Love it. Love it. Blair?
For me, I would say something I could live by is a day without creativity is a day wasted. I think a lot of people come or approach creativity with, I'm not creative. I don't make art. I don't make music. I'm not physically creative, but I think that's a myth that we should bust. Every single day you can do something to be creative. And so I think every day you wake up, maybe try something a little different, even if it's something really small. So yeah, a day without creativity is definitely a day wasted.
That's an excellent quote. Creativity is definitely important for inspiring change.
Mm-hmm.
So what we'd like to do, we do this with all of our guests, is we like to do a quick word association game with you. So Jeff and I are going to give you each a word. We'll take turns giving you a word. First thing that comes to mind when you hear it, okay? All right. So Steve, I'll start with you. Innovation.
Tampa Bay area.
Great.
Blair, leadership.
Me.
I love it. Yes.
Steve, risk.
Smart.
Smart.
Blair, entrepreneurial mindset.
Different.
Okay, I'm glad you didn't say me again.
Yeah, I could. I had to go a different route for that one.
That's good. All right. Thanks for playing. You guys got through the word association just fine. So now let's get down to business. To start, what was the impetus for USF to start the Entrepreneurship and Innovation program?
In fact, Tampa Bay and the Tampa Bay area has a history of innovation that has changed the world. And we, the students, the faculty, and anyone who comes with or discovers the Entrepreneurial and Innovation program are part of that history. We've had these giants of innovation, such as Wikipedia, founded here in downtown St. Pete. The first commercial air flight steps away from USF St. Pete, took off, and landed at Davis Island. And then finally, Dock Web City, which was the first modern day department store, and I would say an impetus for Amazon Prime, plus social change, because they were hiring people from the African American community at a time in our history when many businesses were not. So innovation is here, and we are helping carrying that torch of innovation forward.
That's great. What are the benefits of an entrepreneurship major? And maybe Blair, you can speak to this, and then Steve chime in.
Yeah, of course. So I would say the benefits is definitely freedom. I would say, especially with Dr. Diazio here, I think one of the biggest problems when approaching his course is freedom. So I think a lot of times it's different for us students. We're taught, rote learning, I would say a lot of repetition, a lot of memory. But when you're approached with an assignment that says, hey, I don't care how you do it how you want to, and I will judge you based off that, is very different for students. And I think the best part about it is it's just a new way of thinking. You think in ways that you've never tried to before. You definitely can step your foot into anything. So I think that's the best part.
That's great.
So the benefits of the Entrepreneurship and Innovation program is kind of like the practice and preparation you make in a marathon, or training in yoga, or training in any sport. You wouldn't run out on the basketball pitch without ever practicing your layups or your jump shots, and you wouldn't try to run a marathon without building your strength. Entrepreneurship and innovation is just like that. You are learning and practicing that in the classroom, so that when you walk out, you have this suit of armor and you already have a clear direction and confidence, most important, to create the life, the career, the desires that you want, and not what other people have told you you should have. So for me, it's about unlocking the talents the individual has, connected with their passion, connecting with their already skills and knowledge, what they have, and complementing it with this toolbox of skills, of innovation, of entrepreneurship that we provide them.
Yeah. So what I'm hearing is there's a strong source of growth for switching from, rote learning to a critical thinking mindset, and really having that growth and then building that confidence as you move forward. I'm curious, I asked about, the benefits with the major. Obviously, non-business students have the ability to minor in the entrepreneurship and innovation program as well. Do you think those benefits are similar, or are there any other benefits that you think might be held for folks looking to minor?
I would say entrepreneurship and innovation, the opportunity is really at the gap of two different knowledge bases. So if you're minoring in something, you're getting deep knowledge in bioscience, dentistry, environmental science. And if you complement that with some foundations of entrepreneurship and innovation, you start exploiting what is weak in one area or discipline or knowledge base that's missing, and you complement that with another knowledge base of entrepreneurship and innovation that has tools to solve particularly complex problems. So if you're working in these fields of environmental science and you're looking to solve problems in that field, the toolkit here in entrepreneurship and innovation adds to your stock of tools, knowledge, and provides a very different lens and gives you even more eyeballs to see these problems in different ways. So these are the benefits of minoring in the entrepreneurship and innovation program.
Wonderful. Thanks.
Yeah, I'm curious, what are some career paths for entrepreneurship and innovation majors?
One, I would like to suggest that the notion of entrepreneurship is kind of like a spectrum. On one side, we have this concept or this view of an entrepreneur or entrepreneurship. And this is the conventional view of entrepreneurship, kind of a little bit outdated. The single individual who goes out and creates their venture. But it's really a spectrum. And on the other side, we have innovation, also known as corporate entrepreneurship. And we can think of this as someone being entrepreneurial within a firm. And you might say, well, how does that happen? And I would just challenge you to pull out of your pocket any device that you have or that you purchase has been designed or innovated with the user in mind. Right. And then it opens this whole range of career paths. So anywhere on that spectrum is a different type of career path. And these are reinforcing. Most people who start their own business have experience of working with another company. And you can easily imagine working for a startup. Being entrepreneurial in a firm would help you and inform your ability to start your own venture and be an entrepreneur later on, and vice versa. So as far as career paths, I would suggest that any company that needs to continuously do more with less, to reinvent themselves, to come up with new product services, to scale value from ideas that they have within the firm is a career path within the entrepreneurship and innovation discipline. And I'm proud to say more and more companies, Pepsi, Bain, the NHL has a whole division on innovation. The Orlando Magic, just a team, has a whole department on innovation. The MLB hires for this. You can easily look at Target. They use design thinking and innovation. Of course, Google, Apple, Amazon, Facebook, you name it, all have departments of innovation, and we have many students working in these companies.
No, that's great. And Blair, not to put you on the spot or anything, but do you already have in mind something you want to do once you get the degree, or are you still exploring?
Yeah, I'm still exploring right now. I think when I came into the degree, I came into it very naive with I'm going to start my own business. But I think it's more than that of course you can always start your own business, but what else can you do with what you have now? So, maybe if I'm not ready to start my own business, I can definitely join into some entrepreneurship within a corporation or within any type of business I'd like to enter. So I would say right now I'm definitely interested in the sustainability space. As we just see, I participated in that competition. So that's kind of where my focus is right now. But yeah, I mean, I'm still exploring right now, still trying to learn a lot more. So yeah.
And I think one of the really great ways that we can explore is through internships and different networking opportunities. And so, my next question for you is, what are some of the opportunities through the Entrepreneurship and Innovation program for networking and different internships?
So right now I'm finishing up my internship at the Dali Museum in St. Pete. So yeah, I go to the Tampa campus, but I've been down here all semester doing my internship at the Dali. And so, I mean, if you're not familiar, the Salvador Dali Museum is an art museum here in St. Pete. And I work with innovation labs and educational programming. So innovation labs with Dr. Kim McQuarrie, we work with outside firms and we teach them essentially creative thinking and problem solving. Through the internship, I was able to take the course, Creative Thinking and Problem Solving. It was very eye-opening. It definitely reiterated what I've learned in my creativity and innovation class with Dr. Diazio. And yeah, with educational programming, we've basically just been taking what the museum has and trying to discover how we can level it up and how we can make it more accessible to people. And yeah, so this semester, I've been creating a tour for the visually impaired for the art museum because the Dali Museum is primarily hosts paintings, which we can't necessarily touch or which you wouldn't get the most ideal experience out of if you were to touch a flat painting, I would say. So yeah, we've been working on that all semester. I'm very excited for it and very sad to see my internship come to an end, but I definitely appreciate my time there. And yeah, I'm a business major working in the art space, which I think can be very intimidating to people. Especially if you're not a creative person. Everyone can be creative, but I would say in the art space. But it's definitely been amazing working in art. I think it's very different, but I appreciate it a lot because they need us. They need people who can think in certain ways. They need people that don't just have tunnel vision. And so I would say in my space at my internship right now, my biggest thing that I'm helping with is presenting to people. I think that's a big problem that we can have outside of if you're not a business major. I would say we do a lot of presentations. So yeah, I think you can add that to any space, any internship. I think you can add something that's very valuable with your different way of thinking. So yeah, it's amazing.
That's great to hear that. And I mean, you're absolutely right, Blair. I think a lot of students resonate with, struggling with presentation skills. Mm-hmm. And that's great because I was going to ask where you feel like you've grown the most.
Oh yeah, definitely presenting. I would say being in front of a crowd, I think the sustainability pitch competition definitely kind of threw me out in the water. We were in a pretty small space, but I would say that kind of made it even more real. Being right in front of my peers, right in front of the judges, right in front of a few of my professors. I would definitely say presenting.
Great.
To expand on the opportunities for internships and networking, as more and more companies engage with innovation, seeing the importance for them to stay relevant, they're offering a plethora of internships. So of course you can get experience with Pepsi, helping them design the next flavor of Pepsi product. You can work for Target, who hire regularly for And then you can mash it up with, of course, sports, the fanatics who hire for the different paraphernalia and merchandise, Deloitte, Bain, McKinsey, all of them now have design and innovation departments because it's so important for them and their clients that they serve. So there's no shortages of opportunities. I would also like to highlight the program is slightly different because it's not necessarily the internships per se, as in the traditional paradigm of how to get students prepared, but in the classroom. So one of the aspects is to build your venture and to practice that in the classroom now, which saves you time, money, effort, energy later on. Mm-hmm. So certainly internships are an opportunity and one path for growth and for building that knowledge base. But within the entrepreneurship and innovation, it's also about building that and living that day to day in the classroom. Mm-hmm. And the example of what Blair gave in terms of her pitch is testament to that, because she was practicing that, she was doing the research, she was scaling, she was doing modeling and mock-ups and prototypes and testing. All of that is done in the classroom. So when you walk out, you're not starting from zero. You're already at whatever number you and your own agency can get to. And many, and I'm happy to share, last group of students who graduated, 80% already had business ventures or had activities that were generating them revenue. So if this is not agency and unlocking opportunity prior to graduation, I don't know what is. So this is this duality that the program offers. Create, learn, do in the classroom, and complement that with opportunities in big business for internships that focus on innovation.
Thank you for bringing that up, because I think experiential learning, which I think is something that, USF and the Muma College of Business do really well, is, centering our classes on how do we make them so that they're experiential learning, so that our students are getting that experience. And you're absolutely right. A student who has had experience and actual hands-on knowledge, whether through an internship or otherwise, just is more competitive in the marketplace.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I feel like I'm asking a question that's already been answered, but I'm going to ask it anyway because I've heard certain key skills sprinkled throughout your comments. But if a student is out here or somebody else watching this or listening to this podcast, if you could sum up, what are the key skills that students are going to get if they're involved in the entrepreneurship and innovation program?
I'll share what I see happening with our students. Of course, we deeply dive into problem solving, and we provide this toolkit that entrepreneurs and innovators use. So when they have these toolkits, they're able to apply if they need a wrench, a hammer, all of these things to solve these challenging problems in a volatile environment, in a complex environment, in a chaotic environment. That is the world we live in. And when you have confidence to deal with uncertainty and chaos, you have an ability to do things that others can't do at any period of time. So of course, problem solving, learning the innovation process, there are specific techniques in the creative problem solving process that are slightly different, design thinking, how to scale a business, to properly set your mind. That's different than an accountant or finance. Mm-hmm. This entrepreneurial mindset that says, my first go is not my best go, but in fact, I have to iterate and constantly get feedback in the market. And how do I do this in a way that's fast, cheap, easy, so I can learn and improve constantly? I would also suggest public speaking and pitch craft is very important. And that's something that I really hone, because if you cannot communicate your ideas, no one will believe you for, of course, your venture. No one's going to give you money. No one's going to hire you. Your customers aren't going to buy your product or your service. Your manager is not going to give you that great raise that you think you deserve. They're not going to give you that great product. So you have to be able to tell a story through this pitch craft. And finally, what I see is students become more confident as a professional. And that allows them to go out and say, I want this, and I'm going to go after that with agency, with urgency, motivation, and hunger. And that, I think, is a skill of confidence that you learn in this program.
I definitely agree with everything. I would say the biggest thing is agency. On top of that, I would say creativity, but I think it's more of unlocking your own creativity, untapping your potential more. I don't think we necessarily make you more creative. I think we just teach you how to be. I think everything else that you said was perfectly stated.
Great. Thank you.
So, as we think about the future, how do students in this major or minor, how are they prepared for a future in a constantly evolving society?
I used to be a management professor. Organizations and managers need people who are go-getters, people who are self-starters. Our students are motivated, confident. Blair said, when I think of leadership, I think of myself. What greatest compliment to someone building their confidence and their ability than say, hey, I'm good and I think I can be a leader. And I think that is testament to the skills that she's learned, how she's able to pack her ability going forward post-college. But I would also suggest that it's these power skills, the things that aren't talked about in traditional business schools. If it's how to get in front of a community and motivate them, managing a community, managing a pitch, managing the network that you have, being able to tell this story visually through your public speaking, but also through your mock-ups and your design, because all of these are rhetorical tools that help influence people's behavior if it's the investor or your manager. So I really think it's down to our students are motivated, hungry, and it doesn't matter what interests they have in terms of job, careers, or industry. They're going to go and say, look, I have a portfolio of work done, and I'm capable of taking that job and running with it from day one. I don't need my hand held, and I'm able to contribute from the day one of whatever job or initiative.
I think for me, one of the biggest things that I was taught in my program is that entrepreneurship see gaps in the marketplace. So whether you're starting your own business or you're joining into another business, I think the biggest thing that entrepreneurs can contribute to the workforce is seeing that gap. I think that's a very valuable skill to have in your workforce, because I say this all the time in every single project that I make, is that we wouldn't be here without innovation. And so if you want to be able to keep up in the marketplace, you want to stay relevant as a business, you have to have some form of innovation or some form of entrepreneurship. I think a lot of times, I just recently talked about this in my reflection paper that I wrote, but before we wanted to call it development. And so now we see this new wordage that we use of innovation versus development. And I would say with development versus innovation never ends. You know, innovation is about seeing the next best thing. I think development is more just trying to get to the next step. But with innovation, we really want to open it up and show people that we can be better. And so entrepreneurs really, and innovators really add that to the workplace. So I think that's really valuable. We can see gaps, we can recognize opportunities, and we can really capitalize on that. And we can direct our community or our family or our workplace to really achieve that.
As you're talking, I hear the words leadership just ringing loud and clear.
Yeah.
So, you know, you're able to come into whatever situation in a career and be a leader and a change maker based on the skills that you're getting.
Thank you.
We throw her in a podcast and she does wonderful. You know?
Thank you.
Yeah. No, we really appreciate you both being here today and sharing your knowledge and insight. It's been fascinating for me, and hopefully everybody that's listening or watching this feels the same way. We do have two final questions that we ask all of our guests. The penultimate one is mine. And it's going to be slightly different for each of you. Okay. But for Steve, if you could go back in time and give your college self some advice, what would it be? And before you answer that, Blair, if you could go back in time and give your first year college student some advice, what would it be? So whoever wants to go first.
I guess you can go first.
I would say and give advice to my younger self and college experience, or my college self: zig when everyone's zagging. This is where the opportunity is. When everyone is going in one direction, there's a counter force going, and that you can capitalize and be a first mover, to see the opportunities to be a change maker. And not everyone wants to be a follower, and there's nothing wrong with that. But zigging when everyone else is zagging is creating that new momentum and allowing you to distinguish yourself from others.
Awesome.
I guess college teaches us all very similar character lessons, but I would say definitely just be you, be genuine. I think that's the best thing that you could ever be in coming into college. I think it can be really difficult for people to be who they really are and feel what they really feel and do what they want to do. So, I mean, I definitely ended up in a very good position. So I didn't do too horribly, but I would definitely say be you. It can put you in so many better situations and around so many better people that genuinely accept you for who you are and push you to be who you are. So yeah, I think the second that you can understand that the best version of you is the version of you that you accept and that you know who you are, I think that's the best advice that I could have given myself 2 years ago.
Yeah, great advice from both of you. Thanks.
Thank you.
Last question is for folks who are interested in, getting in touch with you. How can they contact you?
One, of course, we're active on social media, LinkedIn. Please feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn. We also have several activities regularly throughout the semester. Come visit, sign up for a class, reach out to a faculty member, reach out to Blair and other students. This is how you get looped in. This is how you be part of a bigger community, a community that is active, a community that cares, that has a supportive network where you feel like you can be yourself and you can be your best version. And this lifts everyone up. So check out ENT 3613 Creativity Innovation to get a taste, a sample of what we have to offer. And then you decide, do you want to take that next step to grow your career on your own terms? Or how does that leverage your other knowledge that you're building?
Yeah, same for me. I'm approaching graduation here next year, so I'm definitely trying to get more active on LinkedIn. So I would say that's a great way to contact me. Same thing through my email. That's Blair Jones, BLAIRJONES 95@gmail. It's my personal email. So yeah, I'm always open to just receiving an email as well.
Wonderful. Thank you both again. We've really enjoyed having you on set with us today. For our listeners, be sure to tune in to following episodes. But for today, that's a wrap. You can check us out on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. We'll see you soon.